Who you gonna call? Coonbusters. This is Dr. Randy Short from the Imperial City of Washington, D.C. Today it is December the 9th, 2020. It's 9:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Coonbusters, we are here. Coonbusters ain't going nowhere. There's nothing to fear. Coonbusters are here. Brothers and sisters, I am reaching out to you. Come on in. I'm an hour behind dealing with some political stuff. When you deal with people, it throws your time and scheduling off. But absolutely, peace to you. Some chick named Star. Peace to Cheyenne. Peace to to Toledo. Peace to everybody. There's a question about true power. I want to say this very delicately to everyone. Love and peace, everyone. I want to say that true power is dealing with personal issues that are impacting his broadcasting. Pray for him. He's dealing with some strong issues that are never easy to go through. And he's a friend, so I don't dog or dish the dirt or discuss or divulge. But what I will say, he's standing tall. He's growing. He's been through some things that will help him be a better person, better human being, stronger Black man with some insight that he wouldn't ordinarily have. And so just pray for him. Salute to you, Brother Kenneth Berry. And I've been thinking about him. I want him to reach out to me. I know that there's some real challenges there. And when he's ready, he'll share. I'm in trouble right now for just using a name. So it's easy to get in trouble when you are doing stuff. And I just want you to know, I don't make it my business to constantly trash people. If you're my friend or sister or brother, or if you're trying to help people in the community, I really try to do the best I can to not even talk about, except positively, what's going on. And so I just want to say to y'all, I hope y'all are paying attention to the current state of affairs in the country. I hope you guys have noticed that Black Lives Matter is not succeeding and preventing the Rahm Emanuel, the degenerate former mayor of Chicago, the chief of staff for both Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, that this violent hater of Black people has been given a high position. The transition leader for Biden is former Mayor Buttigieg of South Bend over Indiana. These from Baltimore, Brother Jeremiah, always happy to hear from Baltimore. Baltimore is DC's sister. And when DC and Baltimore get together, the world will change. What we want to do is see DC, Philly, and Baltimore hook up. That would be really nice. So I'm always happy to hear from Baltimore. It's an incredible city, an incredible history. People lie on Baltimore. What's happened in Baltimore is like every other city. Black people are being punished, being beaten down, being denied. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I have Robocop. Can you hear me, sir? I can't hear your sound. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Let me see. No, your mic isn't muted. I had this thing happen last night where my guests, we had to go through all these changes over sound. Can you do any? Okay, that just said your mic.
Is it working now?
Mic was muted. I don't hear you. How you doing? Shout out to Brother Darren, man. Uh, Brother Darren, I've been trying to reach him. We must talk. Okay, y'all. Let me tell you what's going on. Ever since I started getting more than 1,000 people following, I've had more and more problems with the technology. And it's not like I'm a genius. I'm a klutz with all this, but I'm doing this the right way. And last night, my guests from New York, we couldn't hear them. And my guest from ATL, let me see, I'm going to mute him and see if I unmute him, if he can hear me. Can you hear me? You can hear me. Now, I just muted you. Now, I'm going to unmute you. Can you unmute yourself on your end if you can see the option for muting?
I see it.
Okay, that meant you muted. Um, You can hear him. You can hear him, but I can't. Wow, what is going on here? They can hear you and I can't hear you. Hold on, wait a second. Is my volume all the way up? Okay, my volume's all the way up. Let me see. I may have to reset this. They do this over and over and over again. We need our
Left me alone in here. I'm looking in the room. I'm seeing they're saying they can hear me.
well, that's them screwing with what we're trying to do. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Good, perfectly. Okay. Thank you, brothers and sisters. You have no idea. It's sometimes it may take me an hour or two to make the sound work, and this never ever happened until I started. Once we start talking about black stuff, and then all of a sudden, trust me, this technology stuff is not race neutral. They're racist Asians and others that run this stuff, and they do everything that they can. You can't see me on YouTube. You can't hear me. That's interesting. I restarted my system. I restarted the system. Yeah, they can mess with your voice. Now, I just want to say this for all of you. If you don't get this, it's on YouTube. I'm going live on 2 Facebook channels or pages. I've got Randy Lancaster Short, and I've got Randy Short. And of course, I have the YouTube. And you should be seeing me on my Facebook page going live. And again, who you gonna call? Coonbusters. Look, and we need our MFM, and we need to get it. This is a law enforcement person, so we want to get our MFM lawfully. He spends his days and nights kicking people in the ass trying to take money unlawfully. MFM stands for motherfucking money. I wanted reparations sounds so far out there to a lot of black folks. So what would make more sense is I need that MFM. I want my M5M, right? And I think a lot of people can relate to this. MFM, y'all. So MFM, I did a show today with a very well-known journalist named Alex Newman. And he was talking about what would help the Republicans for black people. And I said, you're not going to like this, but I said, we need reparations. And he's a minister. He tried to counter him, but said, no, I'm going to stand my ground. Even in a conservative, hey, how you doing from Chicago, Brother Mansa Musa? Even when I'm in a conservative setting, I will tell you the truth. As a black man who believes in God, we got to be repaired. I said, black folk have been broken. They've been messed up. You can see it. Something has to be done. And I made a good case. I'll be able to put that up soon for people to see. I want to say love to everybody. In fact, I want to say love to a very special, wonderful woman. I don't know if she'll ever see this, but her name is Janet Shelton. She's one of the most wonderful, beautiful black women that's from Chicago. And the reason I'm able to do this program right now is that she gave me some pain-killing pills 5 years ago. And I've never used painkillers until my teeth started kicking me in the behind this year. Greetings to everybody. Greetings to New Sean. Greetings to Askew. James Askew. If we're related, you from North Carolina, you're my cousin. We should chat. You got my email. It's W Randy Short. We need to talk. I've been meeting lots of cousins through this. Do you know we black people are all related to each other, but we don't act like it. And it's a mistake. Hey, Mama E, everybody. And I have a praise report. How many of you are in the DC area? Anybody in DC that sees this, I need y'all to reach out to me, especially if you're interested. There are two things that I'm dealing with. One thing is negative. We need to find people that are tired of this vaccination BS they're trying to pull. That's one. I need help. I can't do it by myself. I'm not rich. I don't have power. I'll have none of that. Okay. But if all of us came together, we could change things. Okay. We need each other. I mean, this brother here, Robocop, was able to take me around all the little violent areas of Atlanta without me getting shot during a high crime situation. And just a good person. A person that's a natural leader. We need all the black men to stand up. On top of that, I do a lot of talking. I have a fat mouth, and some of you ladies notice my lips are chapped. Well, that's because I don't have anybody to munch on to make my lips soft. So one of y'all pray for me to have somebody. And I ain't talking about no man. Okay. I'll have chapstick for life. Some preferably dark skin, about 5'7", 5'8", in shape. I don't do fat. That's not healthy to me. I like it lean, Lupita, and jet black. Although you can be like, I really like black. I'm prejudiced. I like really black looking sisters. That's my favorite. So if you want to know what gets to me, it's a stovepipe colored sister who's shapely, not too big, but I mean that's like, ooh, that I like. And then my lips won't get chapped. For all the ones saying your lips are chapped. That's just because I haven't had anybody to munch on. Okay, so y'all sisters work it out. Form a union or consortium. Get Dr. Short somebody to be laid up with so he can be heterosexually engaged. Amen. Okay. At least I ain't asking for a nigga. Okay. And by the way, be a Christian, love black people, and understand if I'm an activist, you got to be an activism too. A lot of sisters, they like dudes that are halfway active, but then they want them to just be around them. A lot of sisters are very selfish when they get in relationships. And, if you're halfway involved, my dad was a preacher. If you're involved with people, people will get your time. If you're a lady and you're with the man that's halfway involved, these people will pull on your life. There's a sister reached out to me. I promised to call her back. I mean, I was kind of stunned. Folk trying to hook up over the internet. And I haven't called her back. And she probably thinks I dissed her. And it's not that. It's just one thing after the other. I was down in Atlanta with Robocop. And all this stuff happened, right? And if you're a movement sister, if we got anything, I'll get back to you. And our stuff will still be working because, it's like Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela. People, when you're black and you're involved and you halfway speak up, you're going to get separated, either your time or something, because it's a struggle. A lot of folks are very, very selfish and don't understand it. If you get with an outspoken black man or black woman, they're going to be in the streets, or they're going to do stuff, or they won't have as much money. I was talking to my moms today about how folks, there was a position that I wanted at a university and the people were excited, and someone called them and all of a sudden the position was abolished. We don't have it. And, there's some janitorial positions. You have no idea. The black people that speak up pay. The main place they attack you is in money. And when they attack you in money, our sisters need you to have cash. They need you. I mean, they don't want the store brand ice cream. They want Haagen-Dazs, Ben and Jerry's. They want the expensive shit. And don't you bring them no Murray Steaks ice cream. Don't bring them no Aldi's ice cream. She'll beat you with the box. You better go give me some design. Anyway, so you need to have resources. So I'm just saying this because I know a lot of people that are movement folks, a lot of them go through divorces. The kids suffer. If you look at Malcolm X's kids, you look at the King kids, a lot of people go through stuff for getting involved. It's a sacrifice. And so for me at 55, well, what did I sacrifice? I sacrificed not having someone to be laid up with. There were folk boning in their 20s. I'm 50 by myself. Hell, I didn't bark on that. Trust me, when you get involved and you speak up for Black folks, you're going to give up something. You'll either lose friends, family, money, associations, popularity. This thing we're talking about isn't free. Freedom isn't free. You must give up something. Years ago, people, I got offered a good opportunity to work for the Republican Party. They're going to set me up like this Candace Owens broad. And I couldn't take it because I'm concerned about race and injustice. And the people says, dude, what a loss. We could really do something with you, but you always keep talking about your people. So if you look at how broke I am, I didn't take it. When you look at certain Black people that are successful, a lot of times they've betrayed our people to get what they have. They've said, hey, look, I'm going to get from me. And I understand self-preservation, but in reality, we have a system wherein those that make it are willing to do in the rest of us. And this is sort of why I have RoboCop as I'm building him up. He's a brother from Georgia. He's a brother that knows the streets, who knows the sweets, who keeps it real. I've been talking to him over the phone for about 2 years. It's about 2 years. And he should be in public life. If not in public life, he should be somebody that works with organizing, in particular, people that want to make a change. So he should be an organizer, mobilizer, kingmaker. That's how I see him. And so I'm very happy to know him. Anybody that knows me, if I halfway like you, I stay in touch with you as long as you stay in touch with me. So I met this brother through a very strong sister, this incredible woman named Lucretia Hughes, who's funny as hell. She's honest as hell. And I have this brother, and we want to talk about Atlanta. And I can bring in stuff on vaccinations. We want to talk about the insanity of what's going on with this Biden campaign and in the country. And there's all kinds of shit going on in Africa. We're not even hearing it in the news. And I don't think we're going to get to that. And for you African brothers and sisters, I'm so sorry. But I will say this. Because I'm a daft, I use that term on TV, descendants of Aboriginal and forcibly trafficked African Americans. I love it. I did stuff like the white gentleman that was on the show mentioned Mauritania, and I had to say to him, I was involved with the abolitionist movement in Northwest Africa, Mauritania. And so I said, you name it, I've been doing what I could do. So that's Mauritania, Ivory Coast, to some degree Nigeria, Sudan, South Africa, Libya. There have been some things over the years that are Africa based, but now it's time to come home. So, in as much as RoboCop has, I guess, a situation we're in. We're not putting the name out. A lot of us, we Black folks, we're not independently wealthy, so we work for or with people, and we have to kind of like with our slave to get that paper to pay those bills, have to kind of walk a fine line to have a freedom of speech that we should have, right? But also make certain that they get paid, so no cracker or no coon that says, oh, I saw him on the radio. He said something. See, that's not right. That's not right. RoboCop, you knew the regulations when you took your oath of office here. So what I'm gonna have to do is put you on leave, administrative leave without pay for 10 years. And you'll have a lot and when you work in certain jobs, it's really annoying. You become a slave. I work for an HBCU. You couldn't, that's practically everything you did was a problem. Everything you said could I would reflect on the universe. I mean, the president of the school is fucking the students. President of the school told a woman in a board meeting, are y'all listening? When a woman got on his nerves, she said, bitch, I'll slap you in the face with my penis. The same person that does this in a board meeting is upset about the smallest of things we do off campus. I mean, if his penis was big enough to slap someone in the face, um, seems like he should have been in porn instead of in education. All right, real talk. I'll say the name. I mean, what's the Dr. McClure, Lane College. Real talk. And by the way, I'm going to ask RoboCop. I see my partner in here. And by the way, hey partner, hey Shaq, hey Shaq. We got some blunts coming all the way from Tennessee. I don't smoke. I don't like smoking at all. However, I work with black farmers who produce hemp blunts. So there's low, you're not going to get high off of it, but you can smoke it, relaxes you. I'm more interested in the CBD. I put it on my tooth because I had a toothache, and that's what I forgot to say. My friend Janet, who is going to be 56 next month, who looks like she's 36, who had 8 kids. Damn, she popped out 8 kids, headed towards 60, and looks like she's in her 30s. Gave me these painkillers, and man, I love opioids ever since I had this damn tooth pain. I love opioids almost as much as my EBT card. I mean, in fact, that's the one thing I like about COVID. As bad as COVID is that everybody got stamps. I mean, I feel like Postmaster General. In fact, I can't wait until they put some more on my card. I love my EBT card so much. I said, if EBT card had a pussy, I'd lick it every day. I just love this thing, man. Oh my God. I go in there, and especially this like really expensive brand name shit that I've been buying for years. I really do respect the sisters that continue to get the stamps. I mean, it's like super coupons. You know, a coupon gives you 30 cents off. But when you have an EBT card, it's free. Just swipe the damn thing like Wilma and Betty on the Flintstones. And so, and people, like I said, people hate on you when you have a EBT card. And it's just, "Well, don't you want to put the steak back?" No, 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 I don't. In fact, I want some lobster. They were sold out. People hate so much. And so, anyway, Robocop is in Atlanta. He knows all about Atlanta, and we're heading up at the 10 o'clock hour. We want to talk about this sellout, coon ass Mr. Potato Head, liar, snake in the grass, kill all the babies, and then screw all the kids, and fags are us, financial campaign receiving, Reverend Revert Raphael G. Warnock, the senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, the same church that I martyred Martin Luther King. They even shot his mom up in the old church. Now, this nigga who ain't shit, he's not shit. I mean, you down in Atlanta, is he shit? You see, you're shaking your head. You know he's not shit. In fact, I've been working, y'all. I mean, I'm trying to see if I can get a contract to do political work. I have to write my proposal because I've been working on. I like to do songs and stuff, and like make fun of people. And I was just thinking about bothering this dude because he shouldn't be. I mean, he shouldn't be anybody's pastor. If you looked at him, his nose was all greasy. Did you see the debate? And it looked like he had his nose up somebody white's ass. I mean, and probably keeps it up there too. And my thing is he with the white woman? Is that why he broke up with the black wife? Okay, someone told me let him talk. Well, Brobocop, I'm going to let him go. Let me see. It's 9:57. Brobo, you ready? You ready to just talk about Atlanta and talk about this sorry ass Raphael Warnock? and this Mr. Deep Fried Mr. Potato Head looking ass who nobody in the neighborhood knows him. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm not afraid to let people talk on my show. Go ahead. You're down there. You know he's not shit. That's the first thing we have to agree. We can agree that he's not shit, and they're not doing shit for people in the community. We can just start off like that. Okay, your turn.
Long story made extremely short. As far as he goes, you witnessed it for yourself. We went out there, we talked to people, we engaged people who live on the street, people who live in the area, people who frequent the area, business owners and whatnot. They have no idea who he is. And it's the usual political pun of, you know, you have people who rise up and they always want to present the image of always helping out someone, when in fact these people aren't doing anything. So then the bigger question is always going to become, first off, I have issue with him, and I'm not even afraid to say this, and then, you know, this can be played back later on. You're not going to mention and sit there and tell me that God has ordained or allows for you to have abortion. You're not going to sit here and convince me that Jesus would have been given abortions. You're not going to sit here and convince me through some twisting of the scriptures that this is allowable, that this is what we're supposed to do, because there are plenty of verses in the Bible. But the one that we all know is, I knew you even in your mother's womb. So you're not going to convince me that literally this man who is supposed to be a preacher, who is pro-abortion. And see, here's where we get into the whole thing of, you know, Christianity and abortion and stuff like that. I don't live a virtuous Christian lifestyle. Okay. I live like a heathen. Okay. But I still acknowledge God. I still acknowledge standards. I still acknowledge these things, because we have to have standards, and we have to know that even though this is what feels right to your flesh, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. I have a serious issue with some preacher who literally comes along and says, oh yeah, abortion is okay, and it's in the Bible. Like, no. You demon-filled individual. That is not how this works at all.
So now, you tell me, God didn't hand them like forceps from on high to kill babies? Maybe he did. You don't think so?
Yeah.
I mean, they act like it, you know, Jesus will like give you the rubber gloves to pull the baby out. Yeah, go ahead. And give some sandwiches after that.
When you start talking about black people in politics, it's a situation of, long as they see a black face, oh, we got to vote for them because they black. Well, then it becomes an issue of, well, have you even listened to anything that has came out this man's mouth and actually digested it and said, you know what? Something is wrong here. Something is not right. This man is supposed to be a preacher, and he is telling you to kill your unborn children. And then we have a Democratic Party, which is now advocating for post-birth abortions, killing children after they have been birthed. And you don't see something contradictory. You don't see anything contradictory regarding the Bible and the killing of a baby. You don't see anything wrong with that, because what? Oh, well, you know, it makes me feel better because when I go out here and I have unprotected sex with somebody and I end up getting pregnant, or I end up getting a girl pregnant or whatever, we can go get an abortion. And according to the good reverend, we can go ahead and kill the baby and we good. No, like I said, I don't lead a virtuous lifestyle. I don't want nobody saying, oh, well, you know, you trying to act like, you know, I ain't been to church, and I haven't been to church in over a decade. Okay, so let's not even, but still I acknowledge a standard, and I acknowledge the fact that, yeah, I'm not living right, but I know what is right. That's a huge issue for me with him. And then the whole thing of him in the community and whatnot, like, we went out there, we talked to people who were homeless, we talked to all these folks in the area and whatnot. These people don't know who this man is. Okay. And I want to bet you, go ahead.
Now help me out. When was the first time you heard about this Mr. Potato Head LGBTQ promosexual? When was the first time you heard about Warnuts or Warlock or whatever his name is?
I never heard about him, period, until he started running for office. Because you have to remember, too, when you start talking about the church that he's a pastor of, and I don't know if we want to mention that, I'm sure that anybody can Google it. The church that he is a pastor of, the family does not know. The family, it's a misconception to think that the family, I ain't gonna say their name, they don't have control over that church like that. So it becomes an issue of who put him in his position and who is keeping him in his position. And I ask that question because when you start talking about God, now I'm gonna have to get in your business or whatnot. Don't bring Jesus into this. Now, if you're gonna be a fool or whatever, you're gonna be whatever you're gonna be, that's fine. When you bring Jesus into it, this sinner has got something to say to you. Don't sit there and bring my God into it. And me and him, we gonna deal with me later. But bottom line is, Who is he and who put him in and who is keeping him there? How do you have a church full of people saying, oh yeah, abortion is good, the Lord ordained? Really? Is that how corrupted we have become? Are we really in the last days of Revelation where we have false prophets who will rise up? Are we really in that day and age where people are going to follow someone who obviously is not preaching what's in the Bible?
Mm-hmm. But do you think that preachers should be in politics?
Well, you know, I could have swore I heard a clip from him saying that, for one, you can't, according to him, you can't be in the military and serve God, which I don't understand. I don't know what the context was. I just saw the clip and whatnot. That makes absolutely no sense to me. So when you start talking about can a preacher be in politics, the bigger question becomes, can you separate the two? Because see, here's my whole thing with the whole preaching politics and religion and whatnot. I always go back to Chick-fil-A. That man said, bottom line, hey, you know what? Being gay is a sin. It's an abomination. You're not supposed to be doing that. You going to hell. But would you like some chicken? My whole thing with that is this. I am acknowledging and I'm telling you what you're doing is wrong, and what you're doing you ain't supposed to be doing, period, point blank. You wrong. You out here sinning. You out here engaged in homosexuality. You out here engaged in lesbianism, whatever. A man is not to lay with another man. But I still love you. Do you want some chicken?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that you're wrong. I can even be living an unglorious lifestyle myself. But at the same time, I can sit there and tell you, hey, you're not supposed to be doing what you're doing. What you do is wrong. I still love you. Do you want some chicken? You hungry, baby? I'll feed you. But what you doing ain't right. And that's the whole thing I have with this whole Christianity thing, because what you have is people who go to church. We all know church has turned into what? It's turned literally a situation where you got an ATM in the lobby. They pass around collection plate 3 and 4 times and whatnot, trying to gather money. It's turned into a fashion show. Those same people who go to church every Sunday, they try to present themselves as though they're living on high. My biggest issue, and I talked about this literally about 15 years ago when I was, trying to go to church and do some things and whatnot.
Which church were you going to?
No, I went to church with some chick I was talking to at the time, and she was trying to turn me on. I made, well, just a quick side note about that. I told her I refuse to go to any church unless that pastor has a job and or a business that is not funded by the church. If your pastor does not have a regular job out here in the real world, I'm not going to your church. Now, her counter to that was that, oh, well, being a pastor is his job. Well, I get that, but he's also pimping the people. So he's out here just pretty much pimping people who, bottom line, are just following him around blindly and whatnot with all this other mess he got going on. But that's a whole other story. My issue with the whole church thing is this. You presented yourself as a pastor and a man of the people. The people in the area don't know who you are. When we talk about Jesus, Jesus was in the streets. Jesus was hanging out with the dope boys, the murderers, the prostitutes of his day. He was out there actually with people and ministering to the people. And even when Jesus came into the temple and saw that the moneylenders were in there and they were doing their thing, what did Jesus do? Jesus got an attitude. Jesus got angry. Jesus flipped some tables. So people who try to say, oh, well, you trying to say X, Y, Z, and that don't sound God-like. No. Even Jesus flipped over some tables. So you can't sit there and bring up that whole argument of, oh, well, you just have to pray for people and whatnot. No. Just because you pray for people and you try to minister to them don't mean you don't sometimes have to engage in violence as well as go ahead and flip over a couple tables either. Mm-hmm. So my whole issue with him is you're talking about abortion. You're talking about the community. Yeah, we went out there, we talked to people. Don't nobody know who you are. Mm-hmm. I have no clue how long he has been a pastor of that church. But I would love for somebody to fill me in on how he got there and let alone how he retains his leadership. Because I'm almost positive that Dr. King was not a pro-abortion type person. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that whole logic of literally abortion is okay and all the other stuff that has came out this man's mouth about, open up the jails and let our children go and whatnot. People make an assumption that apparently all these people who are in jail are in Atlanta is a black city. You talking about black mayor. You talking about black city council. You talking about black police, black judges, black prosecutors. You talking about black victims. And now you're talking about black perpetrators. You tell me where the racism is in that we need to let all these people out of jail who are victimizing other black people. That makes absolutely no sense to me when people get to bringing up all this stuff about racism and all that. And even when we go into the whole thing of the drug game, I literally have seen people go to jail and come back out because of drugs and whatnot, and they're not the same people. What you need to worry about is the sentencing is what you're worried about. As far as anything else goes, the sentencing is the real issue that people have. Why is it that murderers, rapists, and pedophiles serve less time than dope boys and whatnot? You talking about they doing 20, 30, 40 years and whatnot. If you go out here and rape somebody, you do anywhere from 2 to 8 years. Murderers do anywhere between, I think it's like as low as 5 and as high as about 16 years, depending on the case and the severity of the case and whatnot. But literally, it's just one of those things. You can't keep using race and this let our children out the jails thing. Okay, well, who are the people that they victimize? Why don't you go talk to the people that they victimize? They out here carjacking folks, shooting folks, and the whole nine. And then the next thing that we heard, what? They want to start bringing up the gun issue. Guns are not the problem. They never want to give you a breakdown of the numbers. Let me break this down Barney style real quick. You have about 40,000 gun deaths that occur every year. That's not an exact number, so don't nobody go fact check me and no, it was it. You have about 40,000 gun deaths every year. About 28,000 of those are suicides. Okay, now hold on. Another 8,000 are people who are in that life. That's that's pretty much like gang related, drug related type stuff. Okay, now we get down to the actual number of gun deaths as far as things that may really truly affect me and you as far as, minding our damn business and going to work every day and paying our taxes. Mm-hmm. Guns are not the problem. And then the killer part is this. They literally want to sit there and tell you shouldn't have an AK, an AR-15, or any of these guns. These guns, and you can look it up on the FBI's website, you can look up the UCR reports and all that. These guns do not account for that many deaths. Handguns are the problem. Handguns are what you should be going after, but because that would make it too obvious of their socialist, communist agenda, they go after the real guns that you need in case of revolution to fight against tyranny.
Let's talk about guns for a second. You like guns?
Do I need to go grab some out the safe?
No. Just do you like guns?
Yes.
Okay. I like guns too. I don't even have them. I loved them as kids. I mean, I love guns. I just don't like crooks with guns. I don't like racists with guns. I don't like desperate people with guns. But overall, I mean, guns are cool. Very soon, I'll have to have guns. I just absolutely, you remember that song? And I like it. I changed the words to it, that Cyndi Lauper had a song, and I changed it to "Blacks Just Gotta Have Guns." Blacks just gotta have guns.
It goes in more than that. Black people should be the one people who, bottom line, are in favor of guns. When you think about the actual history of gun control in this country, it was designed to disarm black people and to target black people and make sure they couldn't arm themselves. So that to me it's like one of those things of black people have any. It's just like people have said it. We had the civil rights movement in the 60s. We still have people walking around right now who could not drink from a certain water fountain, sit on the damn bus where they wanted to sit, and all these other things. And then it's like I tell people too, you sat here and you told me that Trump was the second coming of Hitler. You sat here and told me this man was going to bring about the white supremacy, and then you're going to turn around and tell me I don't need a gun. I don't trust the government. I never have trusted the government. I need my gun. I don't want to hear nothing about gun violence and some school that got shot up. There is a price you pay for freedom. Okay, you can have peaceful slavery or you can have dangerous freedom. I choose dangerous freedom because peaceful slavery is not what I'm going to do. And if people say, "Oh, well, you can't think you're going to fight the government and all this other stuff." Oh yeah, you can. You can think you're going to fight the government because see, here's the thing. Oh, well, the government, they've got multi-billion-dollar bombers. They got tanks. They got drones. They got missiles. They can land on your forehead from 3,000 miles away. Okay, I got a question for you. You got everything from Vietnam to Iraq, and we still couldn't take that. You got Afghanistan. We still couldn't take that with the most advanced military in the world because what? You got somebody running around with jeans and a T-shirt and an AK who's not going to bend to your will. Having a gun, having a rifle, having the means to fight back is very key. I'm not worried about the white supremacy. I got guns for that. If somebody want to come burn a cross in my yard, that's fine. The toughest decision I'm gonna have to make is which gun am I gonna shoot you with. I don't care nothing about the can. I don't care nothing about the white supremacy. I don't care nothing about none of that. And then I ask people too, okay, y'all always complain about the white supremacy. How about this then? Tell me who this white person is who has literally been doing all this stuff to you, because apparently you're under all this oppression and whatnot. I got some guns. Let's go get them. And nobody can ever name that person. They can never name that thing. They can never name what's actually going on and whatnot. Why? Because we don't have racism going on like that in this country. Does racism exist? Of course it does. There's always going to be somebody who bottom line is racist. There's always going to be somebody who got some issues and whatnot. You got black people who are racist, and yes, black people can be racist. It does happen. It does occur.
We're racist against each other. Oh my God. And again, oh, blacks just gotta have guns. That's what we really want. Right. If Nat Turner had guns, if Denmark Vesey had guns, if Box Lee had guns, right? If the folks in Wilmington, if the people in Black Wall Street and other, I mean,
they don't tell you how Rosa Parks sat on the porch of her house with a shotgun just in case the Klan came. They don't tell you about these things because they don't want you being empowered and saying, you know what? We do need to have guns. And yes, there will be innocent people who die. There will be people who end up getting shot, killed by somebody. Things are going to happen. But unfortunately, that is the price you pay to be free. Now, if you don't want to be free and you want to give up all your rights and you want the government to take care of you, to give you a house, to give you an allowance every week to live on, to feed you, and do all these things for you, then you need to go to a communist country or a socialist country where they do these things at. And I guarantee you'll understand why these people are coming to this country in droves, because literally that's not how you want to live. Because ultimately, because you look at here we go into the whole thing. You have the Constitution and you have the amendments. Most people who want to engage in this conversation have never read the Constitution. They've never read the amendments. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And if you actually read the amendments, it reads like a fight with the government. You have the First Amendment, which is what? Freedom of speech, press, religion, express yourself. But then right after that, you got that Second Amendment, which is what? To have a gun, the right to keep and bear arms. And right after that, you got what? The Third Amendment. That means your soldiers cannot come in your house and take over your house, because back in the day, they didn't have police. The Fourth Amendment, the right against pretty much search and seizure is what it deals with. Unless you got a warrant or I'm under arrest, you need to get the hell out of my damn face. No, you can't come in my house. You got the Fifth Amendment. People haven't actually read these things. They don't know, which is why these politicians are able to run and sit there and tell you abortion is okay. And then when they get in office, what are they going to do? They're trying to disarm you. They want to take away your rights. And people don't even understand where your rights come from. The Constitution recognizes your rights. It doesn't give them to you. It recognizes them. So then people say, well, you know, where do rights come from? There's two ways of looking at this. You got what? God-given rights, but people don't believe in God. They want to be atheists and whatnot. Now you have natural law or natural order. When you look into the wilderness, when you look into the wild, what do you see? You see a cheetah chasing down a gazelle. And what happens when that cheetah catches up to that gazelle? That gazelle fights back. That is natural law. It is natural for you to want to fight back and have the means to fight back. And sometimes that cheetah gets beat up and kicked in the face, and that gazelle gets away. But you have to have the things you need in order to fight back. They want to take away the very thing you need to fight back, which is why what? The Second Amendment and the First Amendment are always under attack. They want to shut you up and they want you disarmed. And then they can engage in their agenda. Even with this whole Modelo virus, that's what we're going to call it. Because I know how they got all this stuff set up. The Modelo virus has a 99.9% recovery rate or survival rate and whatnot, especially depending on if you're younger than 55 and whatnot. They have people that you need to walk around with a mask. They're conditioning you. Then they're going to condition you that you need to get a vaccine. If you know anything about the Bible, you already know what's coming after that, which is what? We're going to put this computer chip in your hand, hence the mark of the beast. That is what's coming. They're conditioning you and getting you ready. So that way you're already like, you know, well, we got to stay in the house and we can't go outside and we can't go make no money. We can't do this. And We can go get on a plane and we can sit on a plane, but we can't go to church. We can't do that. You know, can't go. You can't go worship your God, but you can go do all these other things and whatnot. So all they're doing is conditioning you. So that way, when they get ready to go ahead and say, hey, we need you to get this chip now, you're going to be like, okay, I already got the vaccine. Let them inject me with that. Go ahead and put this chip in my hand. That's what is coming in this country. That's why I tell people all the time, it is not about anything as far as Democrat or Republican goes. All this is about is being free. And all I want to do is be free. That's it. I don't want to infringe upon anybody else's rights as far as them being able to be free. Just literally all I want is to be free. And people don't understand that basic concept because most people have never read the Constitution or the amendments. And the question that I ask people is literally, do you want to be free? They can't, they look at you like they don't even know what you're talking about. And then when you ask them, have they read the Constitution? Have they read the amendments? They can't answer these questions. It is frustrating, especially when you're talking to black folk who have never read these things. And then they just make up something that they heard somewhere. And I have to literally break out the Constitution, break out the amendments and show them like, no, that's not what this is about. You hear a lot of black people say what? Oh, the Constitution say we 3/4 or 3/5 a person. The Constitution doesn't say that. You're talking about at a time in America when there was racism, when there was slavery, when all those things were going on. That was the culture at the time. And this was written in what? Other documents and whatnot, but it wasn't in the Constitution. Actually, slavery doesn't come up until it was outlawed. A lot of people don't realize that the 13th Amendment outlawed slavery so long as what? You do not get convicted of a crime and you're not a prisoner. When you become a prisoner, now you have become a slave. That's why what? After the Civil War, it was easy for a black man to what? Get locked up. And now he's locked up. We're going to give him a ridiculous sentence and we're going to put him back in the field. That's what happened. So actually, slavery was never even in the Constitution until it got outlawed, which is one of the great ironies of things that have not been addressed in this country. I don't understand how you have black people who go to jail for a crime. They do what they're supposed to do. They do the time. They get back out and they don't have their rights. That makes absolutely no sense to me. How do you get punished and then you take away someone's rights for the rest of their lives? That makes absolutely no sense to me.
There are things from the chat. There's Robert Williams' nephew, Robert Williams, that book, Negro with Guns. You may be aware of it. I'm going to reach out to him. I've already spoken to him as on this Coonbuster program. If you know of people that are worth talking to, like this brother here is brilliant and knows so much. In fact, I can sit back and be trifling and let him speak and not have to carry the show, which is lots of fun. If you know serious people, you have my email, reach out to me. We can do this at any time. I mean, I don't have the biggest platform, but I will say this to you. At least the way it's going now, I'm pretending like I'm a record producer. Typically, each one of these things that I do gets, now it's hitting about 1,000 views each time, which isn't bad. I've only really been doing this just over a month, which I think is good. About a month of this, and we are. By the way, Brother Selmo, you need to come back and talk about Brazil. I want everybody to reach out. We can do as much of these as people want, if people are interested. And again, oh, blacks just gotta have guns. That's what we really want. Have guns. Tell the racists, bring it on, 'cause blacks, they
Stop, just stop. Jesus.
Oh, blacks just gotta have guns. Okay. Anyway, I say to anybody, I have family from Georgia. And anybody that wants to see this brother on the stream, you have the option to go to my stream. It's nothing's keeping you from doing that. My StreamYard, and it's up there. So, I mean, I just have this live so I can reach as many people as possible. My family, there's a man, look him up. I'm gonna put his name. I have a ancestor. I mean, the nigga was bad. The nigga was bad. His name was Jasper Battle. He was down in Georgia. Look up Jasper Battle. Y'all look him up while we're doing this show. And my great uncles, my great great uncles, I'm here today because people had guns. They talk about Frederick Douglass. What was Frederick Douglass trying to do? Was put guns in black men's hands so they could fight for their freedom. Our problem, I was doing a show the same day Dylan Roth shut up Emmanuel AME Church. They were asking me to do a show about gun control. And I told them we don't need gun control. We need white supremacy control. Increase the guns, decrease the haters. Okay. And guns help you do that. If someone comes in your house, it's real talk. Okay. By the way, Chuck Hicks, Deacons for Defense, Brother Selmo, the son of the founder of Deacons for Defense, I need to reach out to him and see if we can get him to come on and have people talk. I'm not the only person that thinks like me. I am not a freak. I am a thinking black person who wants to exist. I have a right to exist. I have the right to use lethal, deadly force to preserve my life. Look up Jasper Battle. And what you will find, there's a very good book called The Carnival of Fury on a black man in Louisiana, I think in New Orleans, who was mistreated. And he absolutely turned the place out. There's a movie Spike Lee's putting out now. It's going to talk about black folks using armed resistance. We're being backed in a corner, but I'll tell you something. We absolutely need to resist coons too. And as y'all know, I have a new expression, which is CAF. I didn't tell you about CAF. You don't know what CAF is, do you? Y'all know what CAF means? CAF stands for coon as fuck. And we have a lot of coon as fuck people in our community that need to be checked, whether they're criminals, whether they're bushy selling us out. And that's another reason you need to have weaponry, because people respect deterrent force. There would not be in America, as you know it today, had the Indians had the same firepower as the white folks. Let's be real. In fact, Wounded Knee, which was like a genocide, these folks just didn't have no guts. If you're dealing with people that you say, oh, you black folks say everybody's so racist, everyone hates us, everyone's against us, then forgive me, I have to say this. Some of the loudest, fattest, ignorant people that are against guns are a bunch of pork chop feminist trolls. There are a lot of black women that are pork chop feminists. They're never on code. Now, Ida B. Wells had a gun. You just said, okay, that Rosa Parks had a gun, right? Harriet Tubman had a gun, right? Fanny Pleasant had a gun, right? The black woman named Biddy, guns and black women go together, okay? It's only until these little butch, ugly, mannish-looking broads that are traitors that need to be disrespected. And on my channel, I disrespect feminism. I absolutely hate the shit. I'm not going to respect it. Tell all of them I hate it. I hate it. Black men, start hating this shit. It's ridiculous to have a bunch of butch white women, brainwashed, dumb fuck black women, to hate black men and babies. That's part of all this abortion. Where do all these ideas come from, killing black babies? From the white lesbians, the dumbass black women trying to be hip listened to. And I could care less. I don't like womanism either. If it's for killing babies, if it's pushing LGBTQ. Isn't it interesting that this dumb fuck women's movement that bitches about women getting HIV AIDS from their down low boyfriends or husbands, but yet the women's movement has been advancing homosexuality and abortion? This is you broads' job. Y'all fucked up here, and I don't mind offending you, telling you it's wrong. If black men were out here talking about killing babies, you'd come, oh, you can't do that. That's wrong. That's a life. We get so much morality and so much common sense when it's a fat, chunky, loudmouth black woman saying something against what a black man does. But when that same fat, chunky, loudmouth sister is doing something that is equally wrong or worse, there's silence. And then I'm going to blame black men. They're so busy trying to get pussy that they can never, ever stand up on any principle. And or they've been told, well, I just let the women do what they want. Kill that baby. I don't think I'll be able to hold a job for 4 weeks anyway. I mean, like niggas working the restaurant and stealing in front of the security camera. You're in law enforcement. Don't you see a lot of dumbass criminals? I mean, I think I almost want to have a school to teach people, if you're going to be an ignorant criminal, can I help you? Can I show you how to steal something? I mean, you're so stupid. First of all, why would you shoplift in front of the security camera? Damn. At least case it and see whether the camera can't see you. I mean, you're going to steal and then say, hi, mom, and have your name on your shirt. This is like the broad stealing votes down in Georgia. You have your name on your pocketbook and on your shirt, and you're breaking a federal law. I mean, your nail appointment and your weave isn't going to save you. There are a whole lot of sisters going to jail, y'all, down in Georgia. Talking about the devil going down to Georgia. That's going to be the FBI rounding up. I'm telling you, a lot of you sisters they let women blend. Black women are able to blend more so than black men. And that goes to black women's heads, because this is a war between white people that we need to mind our business on. Okay. Really, honestly, you need to stay out of other people's business, right? You're the same motherfuckers that don't read with your kids, the same ones that never go to PTA meetings, the same ones that don't check to see what's on the school lunch program. You are the same ones that are completely missing. I'm talking about as women. We talk about the missing black man. That's a given. Black men ain't there. Black men ain't shit. Black men. Okay. You a queen. You got everything going on. You're perfect. What the fuck explains our community that's a matriarchy, how screwed up it is? In fact, I think the matriarchy needs to be retired. Yes, it does. I don't care who doesn't like it. I'm for a new patriarchy, a virtuous, caring patriarchy. That order has not been preserved by the matriarchy. Crack, feminism, this gay thing has all come in on the watch of the matriarchy. Just the fucked up situation that we find the black community in today, I completely blame folks who failed to do what they could do. I was doing this conversation, and I think this bisexual lady tried to jump bad with me. And she said, a lot of us don't have anyone. Many of us don't have a man. And normally when you say that, because black men are trained to beg for sex or to always defer, because, you have to always be nice to try to get the pussy, so you never ever speak up. A woman will say, well, Christopher Columbus in 1782, and the dude say, well, I want some pussy. I'm not going to say 1492. So it's interesting. It used to be that women acted dumb so they could get the man. Now black men have to be dumb to get the woman. This is stupid. Anyway, it's mind-numbing. So this lady's saying, well, we don't have men because they don't want us, and this, that, and the other. And I said to her, broad, you're a damn liar. Most of you women don't want a man. In fact, the lesbians have ended the man shortage, and y'all seem happier with brute acting females than a real man. That's one. Number two, don't tell me about how hard life is. I mean, I've been to Africa. Okay, sister, explain to me how your child is functionally illiterate after 12 years of public education, when you had WIC, SNAP, Section 8, free textbooks, school bus, school lunch, right? Free public education, and your child can't. And it's in the hole in the Supermax prison halfway across the country. And yet I've seen women in Africa who've been gang raped, whose schools don't have electric lights. They're not even toilets or places to wash your hands. In fact, a lot of girls in Africa can't go to school because if you have a sloppy pussy, in other words, if you're on your period, there's nowhere to wash the thing up, and how many times you're going to say you have, ketchup in your pants? People begin to know, girl, maybe you should stay home, right? These African women with kids who don't have anything. Kids are doing algebra and calculus by the third grade and schools where they don't even have books. So don't tell me about how hard your life is, broad. I've seen women who had it 100,000 times worse, and their kids can read, they can write, they're brilliant with none of what you have. And those women there don't blame men for every problem that they have. And so it's time out for blaming black men for everything. It's time out. And at the same time, I don't blame black women for stuff that's not their fault. But it's time I'm just opposed. Feminism is garbage. It's trash. And like when you douche out the yeast, douche the feminism out of your mind. It needs to go. Women's rights, yes. Equal pay, just treatment for women. I'm there 100%. But when you have a little white lesbian, the little ugly ones with the little box cut and shit, where they look like a booty check with boobs, and she's telling you how to relate to me, this is insane. And look at how Biden, I can't stand Biden. Fuck him. And damn all y'all that voted for Biden. Biden's not shit. Biden is a bisexual pedophile liar. Okay. And y'all are stupid. Y'all didn't see that. This dude is already stacking his cabinet full of suspect broads that don't like men. The biggest one is Kamala Harris, who walks like she's got a 10-foot strap on hanging out of her. And and she represents black women. And Simone Sanders looking like Magic Johnson's son, Irvin. And he's prettier and he keeps his weight down better than she does. I mean, what the hell? And then they got the little Haitian bitch who's working for Kamala. They've got all of these sorry ass feminists who aren't shit. They aren't going to do anything. They don't help other women. They didn't help Sandra Bland. Have you seen Kamala Harris put Breonna Taylor's name in her mouth? She'd probably French kiss her body, but would never do anything to stand up to the cops because she was a cop. She's cruel. She's mean. And God damn the Boule, okay? God damn the Boule. God damn the Boule. Damn the Boule. Damn feminism. Damn the all of this bullshit of the elitist Negroes like Warnock. Let's get back to him. That's a really ridiculous coon. Now, I was with you. I was in the alleys and people shit everywhere, food and rats and shit, right across the street from Martin Luther King's new church, the Annex. I mean, what the hell is this? How is this nigga going to make a difference for America if he can't even do some shit across the street? That's like a person talking about they're going to go on a carnival tour and they can't even walk, take the trash out the back door of their house. Niggas talking about eating cotton candy on the moon and they won't even walk across the street. We need to deal with this. This dude is a fraud. He's a liar. Nobody knows him. Nobody cares. And I wanted to this other thing about Warnock and what they're not telling y'all. You can look it up. Calvin, I call him Cave-In Butts. He's the mentor to Warnock. It's a bunch of these Omega Psi Phi, A Phi A, these Greek letter coons. They're basically skull and bone little league wannabes. The same way white folks have the skull and bones to fuck over them and they steal everything. Well, we have this Boule that does this to us. And it's time for us to have a civil war against these coons. I don't like them. We shouldn't like them. In fact, on their watch, HBCUs are now becoming predominantly white. How is that? How come black people don't have anything? Everybody can come here and make it but us. Yet you have all these niggas with college degrees. We got $1 trillion worth of wealth, and we continue to have this rate of poverty. This is not an accident. This is criminal, Judas Goat, false shepherd, apostate, blasphemer, traitor leadership of people like Raphael, Warnock. Okay, that's a no good nigga. And y'all shouldn't vote for him. And I'm looking about that, people like Clyburn. The dude looks like a janitor and shit. I mean, yes, he does. He looks like a little angry janitor that doesn't clean. When you live in a big building, they do all the white people stuff, and you never get your water heater fixed. Oh, I'll come up. I'm coming. Which room you say you in? And then you're like, shit, they ain't gonna help no nigga. I'm gonna help the white woman in the basement. He looks like an old black butler that hates black people. In fact, Clyburn is as close as you have to Stephen from Django. Okay. And nobody has shot his ass. I'm not saying shoot him. Oh, let me be careful. Um, let me not say that. Okay. And Maxine Waters, she's basically a liberal bed wench. I mean, and talking about reclaim time, she needs to reclaim some facelifts. I mean, move some of them wrinkles. Damn. I'm serious. I mean, when you look at it, it looks like a defense map and shit. You look at it and say, what country is that? It's just really bad, y'all. Come on now. But back to this Warnock and cave-in butts. These guys are the ones who've been given money to get our people to take these vaccines that aren't safe. Warnock, Calvin Butts. There's a group of black a lot of them are LGBTQ. Huh?
The issue with this whole vaccine, I don't have a PhD. I never went to any Harvard, Yale, Ivy League.
But a lot of people that do are fucked up. So, just talk. But raise your voice. I can't hear you. Get close to your mic. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The whole issue with this vaccine is simple. It's a virus. It's not going anywhere. You talk about the common cold. You talk about cold sores. You talk about the open sores that you have on your genitals from having sex with that prostitute.
AIDS.
When you talk about these things, these are all viruses. These are all herpes. There is no cure. So when you talk about coronavirus and a vaccine, there is no cure for it. It's a virus. It's not going anywhere. So I don't understand why people are so, oh, we need to get this vaccine out there. We need to go ahead and get people inoculated with this mess that we done came up with. They came up with a cure for a virus that just came out, but they can't come up with a cure for the common cold. They can't come up with a cure for the
because it's bullshit. Let's just deal with this. I'm going to just say this to you. The vaccine causes, it will sterilize women, and the virus also attacks the testicles of black men. Okay, I'm just saying this to you. It attacks the testicles of men, this COVID, and black men in particular have 39 receptors concentrated in their scrotum that attract this virus. This is a way to wipe us out. And this is a Negro Project 2.0. Okay, I'm just saying they're trying to mess with us. They're trying to mess with us. And our guest will come back. I see him down there. Where'd he go? How'd you disappear? Hey, Mike, come back up in here. Do you see me? Because I see you. Hold on one second. Ching, ching. I don't know why he did that. Hold on one second. I don't know how he got off of the studio. How do you come back in the room? Oh, I see. Okay. I don't know. You must have had to go to the bathroom. No, you were there and then you were gone. Sort of like Warnock's legitimacy. Okay. And by the way, you might be able to do that. Can you know what? If you know anybody in law enforcement, please, I mean, just have them just drop off a criminal record on Warnock. Just ask and send it to me, man. They could drop in the trash can and we'll come pick it up. Because, people that are in law enforcement, y'all can get all kinds of people's business, right? Just saying. I'm not asking you, but if you have any friends that don't mind exposing his ass, please do it. But the vaccinations are bad. I've got Dr. Stella Emanuel, the woman that was talking about hydroxychloroquine. And by the way, y'all, there's a way to fight corona that they're not telling you about, and that is to take the black cumin seeds and honey and black cumin seeds, or black seed oil and honey. You can take that. It helps fight the virus. Now, let's just talk about this. All these corporations that are pharmaceuticals stand to make trillions of dollars off of these scams. And that's what they want because they no longer make money making medicines anymore. It takes maybe about a billion, five to $20 billion to get a drug to the market. And then when the drugs make people sick, they get the shit sued out of them. So the biggest corporations in the world are not making money. However, because of the Ted Kennedy, they put a cap on how much money. Vaccines don't have to work, and you can only sue but for, chump change. By the way, Pfizer, Graylin, is a eugenics company that makes Depo-Provera, which messes up and contributes to people getting AIDS and everything else and sterilizing people. And I agree with you. There's no liability. So the companies can make bad drugs that don't work and get paid. And you can't really sue. And by the way, they're going to use black people as guinea pigs. Someone from the White House today just said, black folks shouldn't worry. But why would I trust anyone when they address only black people as not worrying? This is Tuskegee. This is the Negro Project. They are using people like war nuts and cave-in butts and the Congressional Black Circus. All of these frauds. Pretty soon you're going to see all kinds of artists and celebrity niggas come out and tell you to take the shot. Now, these same niggas wouldn't give you a glass of ice water if they own Niagara Falls, are now going to tell you that they care. They have old faggot out here. I mean, and he likes getting injected anyway, so he probably would like a vaccine. I don't know, but they put it on him. I'm just saying. And it's time for us to be very real about this. So the vaccine is not safe. The company Moderna is not good. They have not completed human trials. They have not done trials for children. They were looking for children that they could give these things to. And they'll do it to black kids, and they'll use, yes, your heroes, your lords and saviors, black Democratic elected officials. Black Democrats are going to bring genocide to us. And it's happening in real time unless people wake up. And coon as fuck nigger preachers. Same people that can't get us our reparations. Now, all of a sudden, they want to save our lives. They don't want to save Floyd George. They don't want to save Freddie Gray or Breonna, right? They didn't want to save Sandra Bland. They've been trying to get rid of us through abortion and through Planned Parenthood for 100 years or more. Now, all of a sudden, Black life matters. Bullshit. Black life doesn't even matter to black people, unfortunately. It should. I want it to, but it doesn't. Beware of racists bearing gifts. Beware of coons bearing gifts. These are same people that don't want you to have free lunch. The same people that are opposed to SNAP, opposed to anything that you could get. Now, all of a sudden, they want to give you medical care. They want to give you a shot. No, what was that stuff called that you I was going to say Valtrex, but that's for herpes. Narcan. They invented Narcan in 1959. They let tens of thousands of black people die from heroin overdoses. And only when it began to kill white folks did this Narcan come out to help save the lives of white junkies. If this vaccine were really, really good, y'all, do you really think that white people would let us have first pick? Y'all are stupid. In fact, y'all deserve what you get if you didn't understand what I just said. When something is really good and it's really nice, do white people share with black people? So why in the fuck, after 500 years, are they going to give us something? Of course, they gave the Indians blankets.
All they have to do to sell it to black people is simply have black people sell it to us. That's
Right.
all they do.
And that's nigger preachers like Warnock. Warnock. This Mr. Potato Head LGBTQ promoter. You didn't even mess with that. I know you're in Atlanta, so you have to go light on that shit. So, yeah. I remember the fire chief down there got in trouble for having the men's group. So there are constraints on RoboCop. He can't say certain things. So I'll do it for him. Now, let's just talk about War Nuts for a second. War Nuts thinks that an anus and a vagina are interchangeable. Now, ladies, if any of you can shit out of your vaginas, let's meet. We can make a lot of money on Netflix with a reality television show. The woman with the pussy with dookie in it. We'll make so much money. If you can make a bowel movement through your vagina, please reach out to me. I know someone that knows the vice president of Netflix. I mean that. Okay. Because if a vagina and an anus are interchangeable, a woman should be having bowel movements out of her vagina. In fact, nobody would want, isn't it interesting? Nobody would want someone's pussy if doo-doo came out of it. But yet,
you bring up a point that I made over 10 years ago. We live in a society in which people can have the facts, the truth, the reality, the repeatable evidence in front of them. If there is a 6'4" man standing in front of me who is more endowed than I am, and he is wearing a shirt and a wig, we are supposed to address him as a woman, and we're supposed to think he is a woman. We're supposed to sit there and go through all these things to him and address him, treat him like and act as though he is a woman, even though we know good and well that is a man. That is the downfall of any society when you put before them something that is not what it is and make people sit there and acknowledge it for what it is. If I go outside, I've said this before, if I go outside and I roll around in the dirt, and I start trying to climb trees, and I start eating walnuts and other kind of nuts off the ground, does that make me a squirrel? No, it does not. It makes me crazy. I need to get up off the ground before I get cut and get sick or something like that. We live in a society where literally...
Your phone's breaking up. I just wanted to let you know that.
I don't know. It's bad connection right now.
Yeah, it's well, that's when you start talking that, somebody down at Southern Bell said, he too fine to criticize us, so let me take some bars off his phone. Since I can't get the bars in his drawers, I'll show him, right? Okay, when you start talking about reality, phones and things stop working. I'm trying to tell people this. I have someone that's been trying to send me information on pedophilia for over a week. When I was down with you, this lady I called, the emails don't come, phone calls don't get through. These people are working hard against little teeny tiny people telling the truth. But there's a death plan for us. Promoting LGBTQ is a means to kill us, to break us down, to destabilize us. And I don't hate people that are, that are gay. That's not it. You work down in ATL. I mean, the gay people everywhere in our community. I don't hate a person who's got a sexual issue. What I do hate is someone telling me that a clitoris is a penis and a vagina and an anus are interchangeable. See, how many women need Depends for getting fucked in the pussy? And yet you got, Depends. That shit, you can't keep it on the store in Atlanta. I didn't even see any Depends nuts down there. Probably, people just stock up. You go to someone's house, they got about a 10-year supply of Depends because your rectum is not meant to have the same sort of use as a vagina. God made the pussy, not you. And he made
back out, come back in real quick because something's wrong with my phone. It's doing some strange stuff all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take you out for a second. Okay. See, they don't like this network because we be talking real talk up in here. And yes, I'm religious, but I'm honest religious person. And if I told you, some people said they haven't gone to church for 23 years. I hated going to church as a child because people are so fake. I remember hating being in church when I was like a kid. And it wasn't God, it wasn't the music. It was fake ass people in church. Lots of fake ass people. I mean, they just get on your nerves, you know, especially when you go in, you can see that the pastor, he's not screwing his wife. She's mean to everybody. And I almost want to go up to the pastor and say, why won't you fuck your wife so we don't have to be so miserable dealing with your bitch ass wife on Sundays? You know, but, oh, you can't say that. Oh, you can't be honest. It's going to church is like having to lie all the time about obvious stuff. Like when people getting molested or hurt of the money or whatever. I'm not saying that there aren't good pastors out there, but there's a lot of bullshit in church. I tell people I'm allergic to bullshit. You know, I studied to be a preacher, and you know, by the way, I would get in trouble because you can't don't be honest with people. You've got to lie to them. I mean, and people get mad, and we don't know if we can trust you with our pastorate. And you got to give people, you know, you need to throw some softballs short. Don't you just try to go out and upset people and don't be a communist. When they call you a communist in church and as a minister, it means don't help poor black people. They get mad. They'll say, oh, that nigga's a communist. They'd be socialists themselves, but would consider you a communist if you talk about poor black people and what their needs are. They don't like that. You get a bad reputation. In fact, they used to think my dad was a communist, and so now it happens to me. But no, my friends, this vaccination thing, I'm going to have some doctors on with me. I'm going to try to do it maybe even tomorrow. Have Dr. Stella, I'm going to call her and see if we can have it on either Thursday or Friday and have some real doctors, I mean, tell you what's happening. It's very, very serious. And what's so dangerous is that people trust these ministers and these ministers who have failed in every imaginable way. I mean, they don't even tell you about God anymore. I mean, and you know a nigga's sorry when they have to have about 8 offertories. Damn, if you were good for it, you'd get it the first time you passed the plate. You know, you go and they keep passing the plate and shit. It's like, you know, damn, this ain't golden corral. I put something in the first time. I don't want to see that shit again. You know, you get tired of seeing it over and over again. We're at risk of being eliminated and being betrayed. And it's so important, people, that we wake up. And right now, we just need a few people to start resisting, refusing to go along with this. And I'm conspiring with other people. I'm hoping we can get people to wake up, understand the United Way, which should be called United Gay. The United Way is a very corrupt entity that doesn't give a damn about poor people. Almost all their money goes into paying the salaries of the rich white people that run it. And so when the United Way says they care about black people in healthcare, why haven't they cared all along? All of a sudden, this COVID money and Pfizer and Bill Gates and all these other people, and all of a sudden, folks who don't give two damns about black folks now are concerned about black lives. Now, you know, that's some bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. And so, you know, I'm hoping that y'all don't get caught. And the problem I have with a lot of black folks is they need everything to make it plain. No, motherfucker, sometimes get some nuance, get some subtlety, get some depth. Everything has to be written and black and white. I mean,
I've had to explain this to folks, especially when I start talking about the Constitution and the amendments and what's going on in this country with communism and socialism and whatnot. Like I need you to come out that low IQ thing you got going on and understand that what people are doing, they're about to enslave you because you are too lazy to go ahead and not only take the time to sit down and digest the information, but you don't even have the drive to want to know, hey, why is it this is going on? Why is it that's going on? Why is it that a few months ago and even up into early November, it was okay for the kids to go back to school, and then after the election happened and things weren't looking the way they wanted to look and whatnot, now all of a sudden the kids can't go back to school and all this other stuff is popping off because they kept projecting everything was, oh, you know, After November 4th, everything was going to go back to normal and everything. Now, all of a sudden, kids can't go to school and all this. Nobody is putting two and two together and saying, you know what, there is something going on here. There is something that's going to affect me. There is something that's going to limit my freedom. They're not willing to go ahead and just, hey, you know what? Let me entertain the idea that, okay, why is it that we have a governor who all of a sudden wants Chinese people to come in and start buying up real estate as well as starting businesses? Why is it that we have a voting system that literally is not even American and apparently is owned by the Chinese in a great percentage or whatnot? Why is it that nobody is willing to go ahead and say, you know what, there is something going on and it doesn't look right? Let me at least look into it. Let me ask a few questions, do a basic search in Google. You have Google, you have access to information. All you got to do is type in a few keywords and you can find out things.
And they got social media. You've got literally thousands of people, Black, putting the information out for you. White people putting out, if you just want it, right? I mean, literally. This is why, forgive me, Cersei, I clowned someone. They asked, what's your Cash App? Don't you see the banner on here? And I had to say to the person, with all due respect, I put it there so you could see it. Even when it's in your face, you don't see it. Sir, don't you realize that that's kind of stupid? I mean, even though, yeah, I want some, I mean, it'd be nice to get a donation. Are you that dumb that when you're looking at it, you don't get it? And in our community, we've made being dumb a sacred cow where you don't make fun of people when they're stupid, or you don't call someone out when they're dumb or when they get stuff wrong. And so as a result, facts and reality, nothing really matters. You know, if you say, well, well, Hollywood's the capital of America, and so many people go, and people won't say anything because they don't want to say to that person they're so fucking stupid. Of course, Hollywood's not the capital of America. So people don't check each other on being dumb. And as a community, we can't afford to be stupid. If everybody's against and down on us, being dumb makes it certain that we'll never get out of the hole we're in. You understand?
Well, that goes back into what mainstream media has promoted. I get this when I'm at work. You didn't raise your children up to want to be doctors. You didn't raise them up to want to be lawyers. You complain about the police and all these white police officers who are patrolling your neighborhoods, but you never raised your own son to say, you know what? Why don't you be a police officer? I'd rather have my son, my nephew, my uncles patrolling my neighborhood than these white people who I hate so much. You didn't put value in certain things. So what you did was you raised an entire generation on BET, on pretty much gold chains, drug dealers, athletes, and all this other stuff, you know, singers, rappers, all this other stuff. You raised an entire generation on that, and now you are seeing what that, it's not glorified to be smart and to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? I want to go to school. I want to do this. I want to do that. None of that stuff gets glorification. And then you went ahead and made sure that the women in that society did not glorify that either. And then you made sure what? You confused sexuality. You got Joe Biden. He gets a question from some lady in the audience talking about she wants to give her child a sex change and whatnot. So now you're advocating that not only are we going to just completely screw the family model up, but we're also going to start messing with these children. And we're going to start. How do you even come to the conclusion that a 5-year-old can make a decision about cutting their penis off and taking hormone blockers when they don't know what they want to eat for dinner? How did you even arrive at that they're able to make that decision? I got no problem if your child is gay. If your child is gay and if they want to wear some crazy clothes too, hey, you know what? That's all fine and dandy. That's how you want to run your household. But I do not believe that any child should be allowed to be taking some hormone blockers or be getting any kind of surgery. And then the bigger issue becomes a lot of people have that opinion is what I find out. But the problem is our voice isn't being heard in mainstream media. We don't have that power. We don't have that influence. So nobody cares what we think.
Yeah, I agree. And Joe Biden is a monster. Black people in Delaware are poor, miserable, afraid. I haven't seen anyone like that fat, sloppy pig, rollover Martin. Not one Black journalist has gone and done any real investigation of what it's like for Black people after 50 years of Biden's ass being in elected office or in public life. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, just that's why I always use the word stupid. There's so many dumbass black people. And in fact, I have another one. I like it. I'm going to put it up. Daff and CAF. Daff is dumb as fuck, and CAF is coon as fuck.
Black people, we are lost. We will literally vote against our interests. Even like I know a lot of guys and we all like guns. And some of them actually voted for Biden. You know, we're adults, we can talk about this and we can have differences and whatnot. Ain't no big deal. But literally, you love guns, you believe in the Second Amendment, but you voted for a man who wants to take that right away from you. And then your defense is, oh, it's in the Constitution. They can't take that. And then when I explain to you, you do understand the Constitution has about 27 amendments and things do get put in and things do get changed. You're going to vote for somebody who literally is voting against. How do you vote for people who literally are voting against what you believe in and your interests simply because, okay, so Biden, people keep talking about how Trump is a racist. I put posts up of Biden saying some of the most racist shit you can think of. Those posts have been taken down by Facebook. You can't put up anything that this man has said out of his mouth that is racist on Facebook. They will censor it ASAP, most Ricky Tick. It doesn't even stay up long. So literally, you're going to trade the racist that you believe Trump is. You're going to trade him for the racist who wants to disarm you. I am fine with Trump being in office. You know what? If he going to let me have my guns, he can be as racist as he wants to be if that's what y'all believe.
Let me just say, Biden was talking about how black kids like touching the hair on his legs and that he learned about roaches from black people. And I'm just saying, wow, how come none of this shit sticks? And I want to say part of it is that we have too much stupidity again. Black folks' brain is constipated. It needs to like get an enema, right? Get some of that crap.
And even we go back to the days of Malcolm X. Malcolm X talked about this back in the 60s. He explained something that black folks still don't get. He explained that the whites are divided down the middle. And you as black people are in a pivotal position to decide whether or not they go to the White House or whether or not they go back to their cotton patch back in Georgia or whatever. I forget who was running at the time. But now, because the terrain has changed, you believe in abortion. So you're killing off your future. You're killing off your voting block. And you don't even realize it. The reason that they are pushing this immigration stuff is because they want to legalize 11 million illegals, which really is about 30 million people. And when they legalize these 30 million people,
it's 24 million of them. That's talking about there'll be 50 million more of them. We black people would be 100 million people. We'd be somewhere near 30% of the population of this country if we were not hooked up with the lesbian feminists and the queers and the other people. They've almost destroyed us. And Planned Parenthood and these other people, it's basically, it should be called planned genocide. We're very close, people, to being wiped out. This vaccination and all will, for the babies that were not aborted, they'll mess them up. They're almost, we're very close to being destroyed if we don't wake up. Why do I talk about God? Because I need to pray sometimes, and I think about what's happening, how little I can do as an individual, how few people I know like RoboCop here, or said Robo is white. RoboCop here, we could win. The problem I have with black folks is we're faithless. We don't believe we can win, and we believe in everybody but ourselves. Even when they say that they are Christian, they don't really believe, like that fake ass Raphael, Warnock, Warnuts. He doesn't believe. It's just a hustle.
Well, see, even a side note on that whole thing with Raphael Warnock and this whole election and all the stuff that's going on, I talk to people who sell drugs. I talk to prostitutes. They all understand.
That's the cute ones, right? Not the ugly prostitutes.
They understand what is going on. And I literally have talked to people who, bottom line, who you would not think would have voted for Trump, and they can actually articulate the reason. And the reasons that they articulate are simple: great economy, they want to be free. And that's pretty much it. They make it abundantly clear that, hey, we've been voting Democrat for so long, and it didn't. That's why even you got the issue with those two women, the mother and the daughter, or whatever, who supposedly did all this stuff as far as our election goes with the flash drive and doing all this other stuff that was caught on camera and whatnot. Apparently, the mom or the daughter said that they didn't believe how many people had voted for Trump. It was astonishing to them that all these folks had voted for Trump, and they was looking like, oh my God. And when they did what they did, as far as, thwarting the election and putting in all them votes for Biden and all that other stuff and whatnot, manipulating the system and everything, people ain't 100% stupid. And I know good and well that if I talk to people who are on the south side of Atlanta, who black, in a black area, and they voted for Trump, and they can articulate to me that, hey, we see what's up and we see what's coming. Y'all don't understand. We're not going to be free. If Biden gets in office, hang up your rights and open the door for the Chinese and a whole bunch of other stuff that's coming, and get ready to get your computer chip in your hand or on your forehead and bring about those Bible prophecies of the last days, Revelations, Mark of the Beast. It is coming, and they're going to swing that agenda into full swing if they get into office. It ain't going to be no, they mess around and get in there. They're going to implement all these things. They're going to fast track it because they're afraid of losing power again. Trump was not supposed to get in office. He was not supposed to become the president. And here's my thing on him too. People say, oh, well, he's just one of the elites and all this other stuff like that. No. He is part of the elites. But there are people who are among groups who, if they get an opportunity, will try and do the right thing. He is one of the elites. He is one of them. Do not get it confused. But he wasn't supposed to become president. He wasn't supposed to get elected. And then when he got in there and he wasn't going to go ahead and go along with their agenda, that's why they have been attacking that man every day. They haven't told you anything positive about him. And the one thing that they can't keep down is because what? The economy was good. Your life was going just fine as far as the economy goes until COVID hit. Then when COVID hit, people have a short-term memory. All of a sudden, Trump this and Trump that. He was going to win by a serious landslide until COVID hit. All of a sudden, now we got problems and nobody wants to, try to, remember that he was doing a decent job. I didn't say a great job. He was doing a decent job, you have to admit, until COVID hit. We are not going to be free. When Biden gets in office, I guarantee you're going to be giving up some rights.
Yes, sir. Talk to us more about Atlanta. What are the black Democrats in Atlanta doing? You grew up there. Are they looking out for black people?
The best way I can articulate that to you is this. You have some people who don't mind seeing you good, and you have some people who don't want you doing better than them. And that is the best way to articulate how black Democrats in Atlanta work. They'll do a little something here, they'll do a little something there. They don't mind seeing you do good, but they don't want to see you rise up, and they don't want to lose that power that they have. They have a stranglehold on it, and they keep the people ignorant. That's what it literally boils down to. It is a situation in which you got black folk who are too lazy, and they don't want to vote for somebody who doesn't look like them. They don't want to hear anything that comes out your mouth unless you black. And then if you are black, you got to be a member of the clique. And if you ain't a member of the clique, you ain't getting in. That's just how it works.
I use the term black neck, which is basically a black redneck that is ignorant, and they just redneck. A redneck would vote against Jesus, or would be against Jesus if they'd stop being Christian if they found out who Jesus really was. When I was doing the show today, this guy was talking about the Hebrews being held as slaves in Africa, and I said they were African too. I said that his life couldn't cut it, right? And so but a lot of folks, these people would quit being Christian tomorrow if they knew what the original Hebrews looked like. I'm just saying. And the black neck is everything has to be black, but typically black necks don't want the best of black people. Black necks want any old black. It's sort of like a drunken orgy. As long as you're late with someone, it's okay. As long as you're black, You know, you don't have to be a good black, just be black. It's sort of like sisters that'll get mad when they meet you. They just want to screw. I don't want to know if you're a good person or not. Maybe there could be more to this. Just boink me and keep it moving. Right. We're the same way with politics. If it seems like it's gonna be okay, I don't want to go any more than it might be okay. I'll give this a chance. And we have to do better than that. You know, I always use the analogy. I love this. I pick very crude analogies because people can remember it. When you have booty itch, you can pick for hours. But if you just wipe or wash the shit, you'll feel much better. It's more effective. Negroes keep picking their booty politically instead of wiping the shit. Wash the shit. Put a whole bar up there if you have to. I mean, if you want the itching to stop, solve the damn problem. Take the time and wash your ass. Wash your political ass. Stop picking your booty.
Okay. It's just, oh yeah.
And I'm serious. I pick our booty. Clyburn's a booty picker. Maxine's a booty picker. That nigga that looked like Mahalia Jackson, Jamie, you know the one. He did look like Mahalia Jackson. Went through chemo. The one in South Carolina. He's a booty picker. The Congressional Black Caucus is booty picking. Sharpton's a booty picker. Jesse Jackson's a booty picker.
And here's the biggest thing too.
They're all booty picking, and they do not solve the problem.
When you think about it, you know, let's just go to the land of fantasy for a moment. Let's just pretend that, you know, bottom line, we gonna fantasize for a moment.
That's
we're gonna just say that
Congress fantasize. That's why a bunch of their asses are getting killed, and these international relationships.
What I'm saying is, let's just go to the land of fantasy for a moment. Let's pretend that the U.S. government, they're gonna have a meeting right now, and by the time that meeting's over, they're gonna section off 3 or 4 of the best states. That's going to be the reparations for black people, and they're going to move everybody out, and it's going to be a land rush like the Oklahoma land rush, something like that for black people and whatnot. When you get ready to start this new country, this new nation, whatever it is you want to call it and whatnot, what are the principles you're going to build upon? What are the things that you're going to value? What are going to be your morals? What are going to be all the things that you want in this community and whatnot? And black people cannot answer that question honestly, because at the end of the day, now you have to start answering questions about not only education, but you have to start answering questions about how are we going to conduct ourselves? Are we going to be out here twerking? Are we going to legalize weed and have all our children walking around here like zombies and high as hell? Are we going to go ahead and agree to some bullshit tax system in which we tax the hell out of people? They can't answer that question because literally it requires you to have standards. And that is one of the biggest things we lack in our community is standards and accountability. You have to be accountable for bad behavior. You have to be accountable for your piss poor decisions. And people don't want to be held accountable for those things.
Well, look, a hoe and a drag queen and others are not, you can't have standards. A hoe doesn't have standards. Okay. A drag queen, a trans, a trick, a hustler does not have standards. And so as long as we have the hoe ass, whoring, trick, boot knocking culture of, you know, anything goes and everyone's a hoe, then there would be no standards. Okay. And this is why you have such a high rate of AIDS. I heard, you know, not only will people not wear masks in Atlanta, they won't wear condoms either. And so
I've actually had this discussion with I don't even know what the words are, you know, transgender, whatever the hell she claimed. Anyway,
drag queen.
My thing I brought up was this.
Drag queen.
I have nothing against you being gay, but what you're doing goes against nature. It's not my opinion, but if you think that having anal sex is a healthy thing to do, and you wonder why people who are in that community tend to contract AIDS more, you're literally playing in waste. You're playing in fecal matter. You're playing in a place you're not supposed to be playing.
Let me ask you a question about the drag queen. Did they have cologne on?
I wasn't that close. I don't know.
No, did they have perfume on?
I wasn't that close. I don't know.
I'm gonna just tell you something. I learned this in I wasn't trying to know, but I realized I learned this. A lot of drag queens and a lot of folks who do a lot of ass sex wear lots of perfume and cologne. And I'm just saying this to you. I'm not picking nobody. I'm just saying. I remember walking by some drag queens over on what's it? Fifth Street and Massachusetts Avenue. There's a gay place called the Brass Rail. And I know where they put the rail in. They probably hoped it was hard as brass. Anyway, they used to hang there. Okay, and we were walking from the movies, whatever, and we had to go by, and my friends got upset, and at first people couldn't tell, and I sniffed, and my cousin asked me what's going on. He says, "Oh, those are all drag queens. Those aren't women." Says, "How do you know?" I says, "Because I can smell their asses." When you, yes, hey, because when you get screwed in the ass a lot, your behind doesn't shut; it stretches the muscle. So understand something. When they got clothes on, the air interacts with the bacteria in their ass, and you can smell it. So to cover up for this, a lot of people that are into this sex work type stuff wear lots of cologne and all to hide the asshole smell that they've got. And it's true. It's true. And I'm not picking. I'm not saying this to my mother went to sing for the Christmas stuff at the Kennedy Center, and she got sick from being around two men who were singing near her, and their perfume. My mother's super sensitive to allergies and all. She got sick because their cologne was so heavy. And I says, "Mom, you got sick because those gay dudes didn't want you to smell their ass, and they had lots and lots and lots of perfume on, which upset your allergies." And I said, they were gay, weren't they? And my mother said, "Yes." Well, I knew that when you told me heavy perfume and cologne. I says, "Oh, they're conscious that people can smell their ass." So I'm serious. So they wear lots of perfume and cologne to mask the fact that, yes, it's aeration. You have to understand this. I'm science here. That when a person's ass, okay, has been split up, you don't realize that people's ass doesn't close back. They've got butt plugs and they have Kotex for men now.
Thank you for that very detailed discussion.
I'm just trying to tell you what's up. And so what happens is when you wear clothes or whatever, the air, if your clothes breathe, that air interacts with the bacteria and stuff in the person's ass. And that carries so you can smell it. They become aware of it. So when they teach other people how to not make people know what they're doing, in particular if they're professional folks with good jobs, is that they wear heavy cologne or things to keep you from smelling them. There's a kind of, I'm not saying everybody, but look, my mother worked with people who are dying from syphilis, okay, at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. I think I went 1 or 2 times. I remember smelling people's ass as a child, okay, and I'm not picking on anybody. This isn't hatred, okay. I'm the kind of person that volunteered when AIDS was out. And, right, I didn't say, "Oh, you're gay, you deserve to die." I said, "Damn, I hate this disease. I don't want people to die." But I can recall going to DC General Hospital, and you could smell the asses of the people who had AIDS. And I'm just saying to you, this is real. In the future, RoboCop, you may have to arrest one of those people. Don't inhale too hard. You might end up smelling that person's ass in your patrol car. And don't blame me. I didn't make them do that. But they do have Kotex for men now. They have butt plugs for men. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. In fact, they're made in England. And in fact, there's a thing right now. You don't have to believe me. It's called AI. AI stands for anal incontinence. And they literally make a lot of money reconstructing people's assholes. They do things like, Botox, food poisoning. Well, they can take the food poisoning bacteria and stick it up someone's ass to try to tighten their ass after it's been like ripped apart. I don't know if niggas being fucked by Dumbo or whatever, and they're doing these things. Or they even take shower curtain rings, and they've found a way to use shower curtain.
How are we talking about ass? What the fuck is Jesus?
But because this is what I mean. You're in Atlanta. I mean, I'm just
Oh
trying to
my
tell you
God.
what's going on. And then in Atlanta, you have a high number of people dying from shingles from eating doo-doo, or they get septicemia. You get shit in your bloodstream because a big, you got a dick that's like the size of King Kong's arm in someone's ass, and it tears the vessels, and the doo-doo or the bacteria get into people's bloodstream, and it's killing black men the same way that Negro from Black Panther, who I really didn't like. But if you see the picture of him with Michael Jordan holding him from the back, and dude has like he's in the zone, like, ooh, Michael Jordan's holding me. I mean, uh, then he gets this anorectal cancer, which is killing people. You hear about that in Atlanta all the time. Everybody's getting cancer and shit. They're not explaining to people that a lot of these cancers come from this anal sex these niggas have, or the AIDS medication that they have caused a retranscriptase for the cells to become cancerous because of the medicines that they take to fight off the diseases that they have from having done all this fucking. It sounds nasty. I'm not saying it in hatred. I repeat, I volunteered when it wasn't cool to help people with AIDS. I don't like to see people suffer. I don't know if I would do it now because these people have been such bullies around their sexuality. If something else comes up, I may mind my business and shit this time because I felt sorry for people. I saw people die from AIDS, people that you like, people you care. I don't hate the black community. I get it. As I say to anyone, incest and molestation occurred fairly frequently in the extended family I'm in. I get how someone gets hurt and they get misdirected and they get caught up in this. All I say to folks, if you're confused sexually, is get the help, get the counseling, get out of that. Stop pretending that your asshole is a pussy doesn't deal with the fact that your uncle or your daddy or someone raped your ass and traumatized you and then spread this shit around. That's death. Instead, let's confront our problems. If you can't confront your own asshole, how are you going to take on white people? How are you going to take on white supremacy? How are you going to take on coons? If you don't know where to put your dick, or if you're a woman and you think having pussy hair between your teeth makes you a better woman, okay, you're stupid. I didn't say you couldn't do it. I'm not talking. I didn't say take anyone's job away. I didn't say take anyone's rights. I'm only saying I shouldn't have to pretend that a woman. In fact, it's offensive to me for a woman to munch on another woman when she could be sucking a dick. I'm just thinking it actually looks better, moving out. I mean, they can get some yoga going, build up back muscles and so forth. Versus, aside from that, there's so much more down there, um, and not everybody, keeps, and by the way, the women, you're RoboCop. Don't you deal with a lot of domestic violence, women kicking each other's asses and shit, and no one talks about how violent butch stud lesbians are. They beat some ass. Sisters, a guy will treat you 10 times better than a stud will. And by the way, if a woman beats your ass, lady, the cops won't help you because they think it's a woman's thing. You could lie on a dude that didn't touch you, and he'd have to take him off to jail off an accusation he's never raised his hand to you. But if a woman beats your ass and you say, "This, oh, it's two bitches," right? They don't get into it. He's not disagreeing. Am I lying? Do you just round up all the women that beat up on each other? Especially man, women, girls fight sometimes. They just keep going.
I mean, you switch speeds a little fast. You gave me this very intimate knowledge of the anal cavity, and you switch speeds to domestic violence. So
No, what
I
I'm
need
trying,
time to catch up.
I know you're grossed out, but I started researching this whole ass thing because it dawned on me about 5 years ago. When I kept seeing all the shows and they kept putting more and more gay people do the old faggot, Obama, the little nigga that got us into trouble, the worst person that ever happened, our personal antichrist, like a personal trainer. Obama's our personal antichrist as a race. Everyone's just celebrating this gay thing harder and harder and harder. And my thought is, if you're promoting all this sex, what will the negative fallout be? You know, are you understanding me? See, and there's something else that happened. You don't see a lot of commercials or anything talking to people about AIDS or STDs that much anymore. You see Voltrex, you see things where you can take the drugs, but no one talking about. And they, in fact, they make all the people with AIDS look happy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, I'm living good. I take Comtrex.
Well,
Comtrex,
hold on. I
right?
give you a side note about that. We had a actual apartment complex. Every person in there had either HIV or full blown AIDS, and that's when I found out. This is like over 10 years ago. That's when I found out this guy, he got to talking to us and whatnot because he got into a fight with his boyfriend or whatever. He explained to me that when he takes his medication, he is undetectable. And I didn't understand what he meant exactly. He was saying that I can go get tested right now and it's not going to show up, but I do have HIV. And that's when it became clear to me that even when you're dealing with people, you can't simply go by what you see. And even if you were to go and get tested with that person, they can get tested and they're undetectable. You got to judge people's character. You got to actually start looking at more than just what's on a piece of paper and what they, no, I need to know what your true character is because you can be taking medication and suppressing that HIV.
Well, let's be honest. When people are horny, when your penis is on lift every voice and sing, I mean, when it's like that, I mean, most people aren't thinking. You know what I'm saying? They just, basically they want to bust the nut, and nothing can get in the way of that. Okay, and so when people get dangerous out there, that it's out there. But no, what I was trying to say to you about the whole booty culture is when I began to see them pushing all this ass fucking on television everywhere else. It's the same way if they have people getting tattoos, whatever. If you're pushing a trend, what are the negative impacts of this trend? Because I said, you know what, Mom? I said to my mother, I don't see AIDS commercials anymore on television, or I don't see any of this anymore. What's going on? There has to be something. If there are many, many more people having these things, there's got to be a medical downside because an ass isn't a pussy, no matter what anyone thinks, right? There's got to be some blowback, and not blowjob back, but blowback to this situation. And one of the things that I'll tell you that most people don't know is that the HRC and all the gay organizations across the country now are fought against cities and the media to prevent them from talking about HIV, AIDS, or STDs because it makes the people who are infected or have the viruses or bacteria feel guilty.
Now you got to remember what they did in California, though. Remember in California, they went ahead and said that if you they downgraded the charge if you infect somebody with HIV, it was a felony or something like that. They downgraded it to a misdemeanor, some kind of low-level misdemeanor and whatnot.
Right.
So
It's legal to spread it. Right. And they've done that in other states. That's because the gay people felt they were being punished. Okay. And so this is the reality that they live in. Because so many people have AIDS, they think, why shouldn't everybody else have it? Right. I mean, this is how certain people think. This is where you get the bug chasing and the gift giving and so forth. So bug chasers are people who want to get AIDS. Gift givers are the people that will give you the AIDS, right? With all of this going on under the Obama era, that's when I began thinking, what's happening since I don't hear any warning? And that's when I began to learn about the gay birth control pill. There's a gay birth control pill. Well, sort of. It's the Truvada, the PrEP pills, the prophylaxis pills. You know that there are medicines that you can take where you won't get AIDS. If you take a pill, you can screw 1,000 people as long as you keep taking the pills. So it's Truvada and Gilead, and there are a range of these pills that you can take. So no matter how much screwing you do, you won't get AIDS, but you can get all the other venereal diseases, but you won't get AIDS. But what has happened is that this Truvada, the gay birth control pill, as I call it, it makes people's bones break, makes their teeth fall out, makes them go crazy. It kills internal organs. And so if you go on Facebook, you get lots and lots and lots of advertisements trying to find people to be in a class action suit that used to take the gay birth control pill. And so they have these things called PrEP, like the company that's making remdesivir is Gilead Corporation. They're also the ones that make all the uh, PrEP, the AIDS prophylaxis pill. So basically, I can take a pill and go and screw everybody in the Marriott Marquise where I was staying and not get anything. And it's made people crazy. But here's the thing that's funny. The media people lied to them. I see a lot of gay folks are being taken advantage of. They actually believe the big business people who treat them like freaks and guinea pigs. They don't tell them the truth for this false advertising. What they said to people is if you take the gay birth control pill, Truvada, you are like 95% unlikely to get AIDS no matter how much sex you had. And it's not really true. So it's a lot lower. And even if it were true, if you had sex with 200 people, you had a 5% chance of catching HIV/AIDS. When you did 200, you have 10%. There's 10 people that you screwed that may have had it that you'd be infected by. They don't really do this. You have to understand that there's a mental illness in this gay thing. They don't really talk honestly with people about this stuff. Most people out there don't know about this stuff. There are about 10 to 15 STDs that you don't even know about that and they do exist, and maybe I'll do a show on that about you know how in Billboard magazine they have bubbling beneath the hot 100. We typically hear about maybe the top 15 STDs, but there's so many more. Like this one, you can kill someone and it can get into your heart and kill you, and they're no longer able to contain these things. And so right now, all STDs are at an all-time high in this country every year because how nasty the society has gotten. If the public were to be told about this, it would scare the shit out of people. If they knew how many people were diseased, that's why if you go to certain restaurants, you may not want somebody to make your food. They may scratch their booty, and you end up having a heart attack from the food you ate. This is real. Like Chipotle. Chipotle was started by a sissy, and I told my cousin, watch a bunch of people get sick at Chipotle. Notice at certain places, you have a lot of gay people working there, and the folk always have outbreaks and shit, and folk get sick from the lettuce and such. Nobody's talking about the fact that this is real. Nobody's talking about the fact that there's this thing called MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, US 200, I think. It's almost exclusively, it's a superbug that's in the behinds of gay dudes, primarily. And it's almost impossible to get rid of. You could put boiling hot bleach up their ass and they'd still kill everybody in the whole hospital that they're with. If you were to start telling people this kind of stuff, it would make people hostile to people who do things that would allow them to have these kinds of illnesses and diseases. So the sodomite industrial complex, the gay intellectual type people have worked.
Sodomite industrial complex.
You have to say something to describe them. They make certain that the public doesn't understand what they're up to or what's going on. And because if people knew, folks would have real problems. If folks knew all these people that you're calling transgender are 50 times more likely to have HIV/AIDS than other people. Okay, 50 times. I mean, and if you understood that almost, about 90 some odd % of people that are drag queens, transgender, are into prostitution almost exclusively. For someone to be pushing for this is crazy. If people understood that, and this is why they're killing Black people with this and pushing this on our boys and our girls, that gay people die anywhere from 20, 30, 40 years earlier than the rest of the general public. If anyone explained to them that the health, as a rule, for homosexual people, they have the worst health of any demographic group in the country, irrespective of income, there's a problem. And then you see why they're pushing Warnock and Obama and that Butterball, sumo wrestler looking bitch, Stacey Abrams, Humpty Dumpty with no wall and shit. When you get these people pushing all this confusion shit, it's to kill us. This is how they took out the Hawaiians. They fagged them up, and then they were able to take Hawaii. They haven't gotten that shit back with all that hoover and shit. I mean, and they were hoover in the wrong direction, and that's why they lost their shit. Yes, you can go into a country, go in among the people, pervert them, bring the morals down, introduce all this confusion. It's right there in the Bible. If you look at Balaam, the prophet that was there to curse the people of God, and what he was introducing to them was LGBTQ. Balaam wanted the Hebrews to become queer to alienate them from God. And this is what we got now. And Warnock is a Balaam. Calvin Butts is a Balaam. Obama's a goddamn Balaam. And Balaam is one of the most evil people in the entire Bible. And that was a person that wanted people to be queer. And if you get queer, you can't get the reparations of Canaan. God has a blessing for black people, but they have to be upright and righteous and holy for them to enter in and benefit in the land. If they're filthy, if they follow Balaam, if they want to be CAF and DAF and they want to be queer, then we're going to suffer, and we're suffering right now. In fact, some of the people that helped push this, Planned Parenthood and all, were into deviancy. Du Bois was semi-deviant. Mary McLeod Bethune, as ugly as she was, you know that she screwed Eleanor Roosevelt. At least they were both so ugly together. I mean, they must have attracted. You see two retarded people get married. We've had a lot of really deviant people. Even Shirley Chisholm. I mean, God. I mean, oh my Lord, Jesus. I mean, her husband probably needed combat pay to kiss her in the mouth. These are the people that have brought this stuff on us, and we should be very upset as a community.
Jesus. Damn.
It's 11:39. We can stop RoboCop. I just wanted to put out a program. We have to have these conversations. And no, I don't hate people. I do not hate the community. I don't hate folks that are into sexual stuff. But shouldn't they know? If you know how many young brothers I pull aside and explain to them some things, they didn't even know. I says, man, you out there sucking dick. You didn't know this? I mean, shit, you're the one swallowing cum. Don't you know you may have to get your tummy pumped and shit. Get it dredged like the Boston Harbor. What are you doing this stuff for? You can't eat doo-doo. Do you know there are people eating doo-doo? This is how you get shingles. You heard about shingles in Atlanta, and they have the everywhere. That comes from eating doo-doo. You thought it was just chicken pox that they have it up on Walgreens, and they've got everybody thinking that this shingles is just natural. No, it comes from people eating doo-doo the same way kids get chicken pox from eating doo-doo. And if you ever found out that people want equal rights and they want whatever they do to be recognized and they eat doo-doo, a lot of folks wouldn't be able to work with that. It sounds awful, me just telling you, I don't eat doo-doo. I mean, no thank you. But so you have, by the way, this is what the Democrats, in particular the black Democrats, are fighting for. Punk ass John Lewis and all of them are fighting for this gay shit. I know that Eleanor Roosevelt was a lesbian, and Mary McLeod Bethune was very tight with her. Eleanor Roosevelt, and I'll just say this to you, if you know anything about folks, when you get taken in particular, a black person, I mean, as hard and gruesome looking as she was, for them to just do all this stuff for you, somebody had to feel something. And let's be honest. The people in my family that were enslaved, that got free early, normally the black people that got the advantages over the field Negroes were the people that screwed white people. To this day, if you have a white sex partner, wife, mom, or dad, you get more than someone with two black folks. That's what the racist white supremacist system has done. There's a reward for swirling. You swirl when you go to Hollywood. You swirl to get in the rap business. You swirl to get into corporate America. You swirl to get in the Democrat or Republican Party. Swirling, us whoring ourselves out as a people, has been a way for us to advance because we haven't created the institutions and the power bases for us to get there with our heads up high amongst ourselves. Do I think McLeod did it? If she didn't, she was certainly around because everybody knows that Eleanor Roosevelt was a butch. Everybody knows this. And it's a fact. Mary McLeod Bethune, if you saw the letters she wrote to Margaret Sanger, those things were sweet. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she wanted gruesome. Well, even Margaret Sanger looked better than Mary McLeod Bethune. I normally wouldn't give that to a white woman over a black woman. For that woman in this case, I'm sorry, Mary. It's just Mary au contrary. I mean, that's a hard-looking broad from history. And black women, y'all need to understand, they keep putting up these hard-looking black women as being your representatives. They never, ever, ever put up the most homely-looking white women to be their female leaders. And black women say, see, they appreciate me. No, they're laughing at you. And I'm just telling you, I mean, and it's like what Valerie Jarrett did look like the woman from the Planet of the Apes. In fact, the woman from the Planet of the Apes was more useful to her people than what Valerie Jarrett has been to black people. Oh, yes. Well, Maxine Waters wrote a letter to Meg the Stallion, telling she's probably going to voice up with women. You know what? Maxine Waters is suspect. She just gets too much praise and love from white women. When they own you or when they have something on you, that's when they praise you and they celebrate you. When it's a black woman or a man that they don't control or don't have anything on, you can never do anything that's right. The Harlem Renaissance that everyone boasts about, let's be honest, with black men and women having sex with white people who are their patrons. The same way Diana Ross screwed Berry Gordy. It's the same way Langston Hughes and them screwed white people. The same way Zora Neale Hurston was screwing a white woman. That's how, because we haven't pooled our money, we haven't loved one another, we haven't trusted God, we haven't built for ourselves, then when you want to make it and be above the ordinary person, then you have to go to the man or to Miss Ann. And oftentimes when they're interested in you, they want sex. Black folks who went to Europe as musicians almost always had people there to have sex with them because of all these myths about black women having a vagina that could suck syphilis out of people, and black men all having like donkey dicks. And I mean, and so when you build this up in people, so black folks are portrayed as sex freaks. I mean, people that could just provide, I mean, they could bring home the bacon in bed every time. Okay. It's just a stereotype. Come on, y'all. Look, they kept a woman in Africa who had the big ass for years, and then they cut her ass off and kept it in a museum. Okay. That's a fact. Hottentot Venus. This black woman with the big ass, I mean, people would go up and take telescopes and look up in her vagina. This is real talk. This is what they did in Europe. When black folks go to Europe, when the black soldiers went to Europe in World War I and World War II, they were killing them when they came back because the white men wanted to remind them, and no matter how much white pussy you got back in France or in England, you're still a nigger. And in fact, they broke up maybe 10,000 marriages. I have relatives that fought in World War I and World War II. And I mean, the people loved it there. Brothers love Germany now. When you go to Germany, the women practically rape you when you're in Germany if you're a black man. So advancement for black people, in as much as we don't have the institutions, we haven't merged our capital, we haven't done the things necessary to advance ourselves in a moral way, we end up whoring ourselves off to people who we say are our enemies and oppressors. That's Josephine Baker with whoring. Everybody you say was great. Donna Summer, you name them, they had the spread eagle or they tried to get with someone white to advance them because Lena Horne, Sammy Davis, you name them, they were either trying to get to because white was the way to advance, and the easiest way to do it is laying down.
I got to let you go on that one, Lord. You don't went around the world from all this anal stuff to Jesus.
No, so this is Coonbusters. Coonbusters. We're telling Tina Turner, selling her ass. All of them did this. All of them. I mean, and if they didn't sell it, they were buying it. Michael Jackson. Let's just be honest with each other. I mean, Bill Cosby's ass is in trouble now, screwing those weather-beaten broads. I mean, in particular, the one that looked like the abominable snowman. She's lucky someone tried to look at her. I mean, Eartha Kitt, you name it. For that matter, Diane Carroll. Normally, when people advance, they need somebody white to be laid up with. Almost always. I'm just saying. And it's rare that it's not tolerated for black men and black women to love each other.
I got to be up in the morning at 6 a.m. and I just
I'm
hope
sorry,
I ain't gonna be having no dreams
Okay.
about anal
I,
stuff.
I hope,
Jesus.
I hope that you don't get fired. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I'm just being honest. Y'all want me to put this stuff up in here? I'll show you. I'm not making this stuff up, and I'm not saying this because I hate people. Okay, and I tell you, my favorite cousin had a colostomy. I don't know if somebody put a light bulb up his ass and they couldn't get it out, and then to like reroute his. I mean,
I will holler at you later, brother.
okay, you stay white.
Jesus.
Okay, see you, Robocop.
All right, man. God damn.
Okay, so brothers and sisters, I will be getting back to books. Mike is single. If you want him, you should look him up. And he's straight too. I will be doing books. I got a whole bunch of books to share. I got another printer. I just don't know how to make it work. So if y'all have any high-tech people that can reach out to me, help me. I need to figure out how to make my scanner work and how to make this printer handshake with my computers so I can like begin to put this stuff out here. But I do have it, and I appreciate everybody. As you know, your donations are needed. They're much appreciated. If I'm not back in Atlanta, then that means I can stay and work on this channel as we push this. If you're in the DC area or wherever you are, I'm going to need your support for us to campaign against this jive ass Bull Dagger mayor here in DC to make certain that she doesn't sign this thing into law about people being vaccinated without parental consent. I need your help. I need your prayers. Even Chubby Checker was married to a white. I mean, everybody. I mean, goes white. They just do. It's almost encouragement to leave the black woman, leave the black man, so you can make it. There's almost this thing in here that we can't make it together, you know, and we can make it together. We have to learn how to make it together. So I hope y'all enjoyed RoboCop. If you know people in Georgia, please tell them don't vote for Warnock or jack off. I know the Republicans are sorry. I don't like the governor. I mean, yes, they're prejudiced, but damn, we can do worse with the coon. I mean, he's CAF and DAF, CAF and DAF and CAF. So I want to greet y'all, Coonbusters, MFM. We need our reparations. We need unity. We need God. We need restoration, reparation. We need to love and support one another. I'm going to continue to do these. I may do another one. Forgive me, I've been a little behind. I may need some oral surgery. The tooth I broke several months ago is falling apart now. So I would say pain. But anyway, y'all be good. Love each other. I'll be reaching out to you. Y'all take care. Who you gonna call? Coonbuster.